All around the world we're telling stories. All around the world we're saying once upon a time.
Hi campers, my name is Dana and I am the Education Director for Sparkler Learning. Welcome back for another week of camp. This week we are traveling down to South America to a country called Peru. My friend Gabriela Cavero is here to tell us a story about two friends who work really hard to achieve a dream, and it's called The Fox and the Mole. Let's listen.
Hola, hello. My name is Gabby. I am from Peru. I am a journalist and a tourism guide. And today I have come to tell you a story from my country called The Fox and the Mole. And it goes like this. Érase una vez, as we say in Spanish. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, when the animals could still talk, the fox and the mole were the best of friends. On full moon nights, they both liked to sit outside under the moonlight. They would stay up until late at night, telling stories and sharing dreams. One night, Fox told Mole his craziest dream of all. He wanted to go to the moon. Mole didn't care one bit about going to the moon. All he cared about were worms. Big, juicy worms. He dreamed about eating worms for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Worms were the first thought in his mind when he woke up and the last thing he thought about before going to sleep. Mole asked Fox, "What is it you wish for the most?" "Worms," said Mole. "I wish I could eat them all day long. What about you, Fox?" And Fox said, "I wish I could go to the moon. What a wonderful place it must be." "Hey, I've got an idea, Mole. Why don't you come with me?" Mole thought it was the craziest idea he had ever heard, and he said, "Fox, the moon is so high, it is impossible." "Oh, but I've got a plan," said Fox. "All we have to do is wait for the crescent moon and tie a very long rope and then climb it. It's gonna be easy, Mole." Mole frowned, and Fox then said, "Did I tell you there are many worms on the moon?" "Worms?" said Mole, and his eyes went big and round and interested. "Yes," said Fox. "Thousands of worms everywhere, and you can eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner." "And dessert too?" said Mole. "Yes, you can have as many as you want." And that is how Fox convinced Mole to go with him to the moon. The next night, they started working together and making the longest rope in the world. They worked night after night after night until the rope was finished, and then they waited for the crescent moon. Finally, the moon was in the right shape, and so Fox and Mole went to see Bear in his cave. "Oh, dear Bear, please, you are the best tree climber of all. Climb to the highest tree and tie this rope around the moon." Bear said he would try, and so he went, and he climbed up and up and up to the tallest tree. Once he reached the top, he stood on tiptoes and stretched his arm trying to reach the moon. But he couldn't. The moon was too high. And so Fox and Mole went to see Mrs. Llama. "Dear Llama, please, you are the best mountain climber of all. Please climb to the top of the highest mountain and tie this rope around the moon." The llama said she would try, and so she went and started climbing up and up and up the highest mountain in the Andes. Once she reached the top, she walked to the edge and stretched her neck as far as long as she could. But she couldn't reach the moon. It was too high. And so finally, Fox and Mole went and asked Condor for help. "Dear Condor, please, you fly higher than anybody else. Fly to the moon and tie this rope around it. Condor said he would try. He grabbed the rope with his beak and he flew and flew high above into the sky. He went flying, doing great big circle, each circle higher than the last, until at last he reached the moon. With his beak he tied the rope around it. "Hooray!" shouted Mole. "Thank you, Condor!" yelled Fox. And then Fox took the other end of the rope and tied it around a tree. Immediately he started climbing. Mole looked at Fox climbing that rope. He got scared. He closed his eyes. He thought about all the worms that were waiting for him on the moon. He took a deep breath and started climbing. And so they went up and up and up, higher than the tallest tree. "Fox!" shouted Mole. "Are we almost there? I get dizzy when I look down." "Not quite. We need to keep climbing," yelled Fox. "But no matter what, don't look down." And so they kept climbing and climbing, up and up and up, higher than the tallest mountain. "Fox!" yelled Mole. "It's so cold up here and I'm scared. Are we almost there?" "Almost, but it's higher. But whatever you do, don't look down." But it was too late. Mole had looked down. He got so dizzy that he let go of the rope and he fell and fell and fell until he hit the earth so hard he went into the ground. Mole was so embarrassed that he wanted to hide, and that is why, until this day, Mole lives on the ground. But what happened to Fox? Fox kept on climbing and climbing until finally he reached the moon. And he was so happy that he decided to stay and live there happily ever after. And that is why in my country, Peru, where this story is from, people say that on clear nights you can see the shape of the fox in the moon.
Thank you, Gabby, for sharing that story, and thanks to you for listening. Now, it's your turn to get busy playing activities that are inspired by this week's story. I hope you have loads of fun this week, and I hope you'll join me again next week to find out what else happens once upon a time.